I was recommended to come here, and I was told to beg if I had to. So thank you for having me on. I'm on a little bit of a journey, and I'm not sure what I'm jumping into, but it sounds like it's nationalism and what's good and what's bad about it. Is that right?
National identity is a better, I think.
Yeah, national identity
Patriotism.
is patriotism necessarily is it necessary, right? Is patriotism necessary to have a strong country? Let's say that.
So I'm a bit of a Hegel buff right now, and I think his opinion is probably correct. So I think he says anyway that all nations are founded at first in a violent kind of way, where you have to have this totalitarian, this kind of hero come in and then crush whatever is not rational. And they're supposed to be these agents of world spirit that usher in new universals of reason. And a state is a big victory because you're overcoming the sort of nomadic tribes and stuff like that by creating what he considers the highest form of genuine reason that you can have before you become spirit. And so I think that there's one logic that we all need to sort of learn if we're going to overcome this weird, hyper-partisan, hyper-nationalistic global culture that we're in right now, where the pandemic exposed basically all the unfair trade, all of the fissures in our cultures, the fact that the United Nations really is powerless, or it's in some kind of stalemate between the countries. And I think the only thing that's going to solve all this tension is, it's going to sound strange, but I agree with Hegel. I think it's really how we build identities in the first place, which is the dialectical process of pure thought. So everybody on Earth looks like they're different and in different particular cultures, but we're all actually operating by one universal logic. And if we taught how to think together in that one universal super sensuous logic, you can dress it up in any culture you want, but you have to grasp the essence. And that's what national identities are supposed to be nascent forms of. But there's something called the science of logic, where I think...
Give us the 5-cent version. Give us the 5th grade version, please.
Oh, the 5th grade version.
ELI 5, please.
Well, we need to learn to think together, guys, in one kind of wisdom. And if we teach this very simple way of thinking, dialectical thinking, then we can create a much better, more cohesive politics that's not hyper-partisan, and that you can be any culture you want and still think the same. So this logic is the thing that's been missing from the last 3,000 years of history, whether political, economic, or philosophical, and it's been slowly developing. And I think Hegel has this tremendous system of wisdom that we could actually use to start building this new kind of world spirit that could create maybe, instead of a new world order, a new world spirit.
Okay, so what if someone doesn't want to be part of this, right? So someone says, I don't agree with this pure thought or whatever. I don't agree with this logic. I don't agree with this overmind, one spirit thing. What do we do with them?
Well, you ask them, what's the point? Like, what do you want? And they're probably going to say some version of freedom. The whole point of being here and self-actualizing is to gain genuine freedom, which is not just random caprice, but a sense of destiny, a sense of purpose, being the best and ideal person that you can be. And so most people find that in their state, right? Because that's the logic that they can identify with.
Do they?
Most people, unless you don't belong to your state. If you're in a marginalized state in your state, then of course you're going to negate it and you're going to resist it. Then you'll be looking for something different, and they'll probably be more open. But the people who are...
Are you related to Syndicus, by the way? Do you know Syndicus?
Sinaiticus! Sinaiticus is my favorite. I love him.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but tell me some more.
No,
I'll have to set up an introduction. I want to put together a panel with both of them. Don't spoil it.
I think you guys would get along. That's all. But okay. So, as I'm understanding you, there's this overall state. In your opinion, most people derive freedom from their state, if you will. What do you guys think, gang? Do you think he's right? What are some thoughts here?
I mean, like, Hegelianism is definitely, like, I definitely have some, like, pushback for Hegelianism, but I don't know if that's really, like, the panel that we're having. But, like, this form of, like, national identity and how people exist in this sort of, like, I don't know, dialectical process between, like, their relationship to community, it doesn't mean much of anything for me when everyone sort of lives outside and unique to the paradigm that we're talking about. Like, no one really lives necessarily within the confines of community or the state. Like, that's not who they are as a person. So I don't see any utility in it now. But like, it is. We're right on the cusp of just talking Hegelianism now, so I want to be very careful.
Please don't go down that road. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are kind of winding down. I feel like we've reached kind of a point where I think we've expressed our views. We've all gotten a chance to have our say. I do want to get Saxon in here if he has something. What is this, Saxon?
I've got something short and sweet. I wanted to thank my fellow Canadian for what they were saying there. I try to have a more sort of down home sort of country doctor sort of sensibility. So as a Canadian American and now British person, there's something about Canadian American patriotism and jingoism I always had a way to reflect on. And that in Canada, the sensibility of whatever, looking at patriotism through the lens of what is jingoism, or sort of a more hyper extended expression of patriotism. Not to get into any definitions, that could be at a different point, but just simply that the expression of Canadian jingoism compared to American. So American jingoism, I could always feel very much in my 4th of July self. America, we're number one. Woo! That's the jingoism of America, extending it way past, like, I'm patriotic, I'm proud of my country, I'm proud of what we've done, I'm proud of what we could do. But that Canadian jingoism was simply, America, we're number one. Canada's, we're not America. So
very accurate.
What is that patriotic extension? Sometimes it's a saying we are different from X, Y, or Z as an expression of jingoism. I don't know what it means. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Is your camera inside of your lower intestine?
Actually,
that's called a colonoscopy.
I don't even know what
everyone else can have
if it's
4K
not,
if they like. But
I don't know if we want 4K.
Remember, if you're over 40, schedule a colonoscopy.
The ambiguity, I think, is going to save me here if it's something bad. So we're going to stick with that. But I will say that
I'll just add this one thing. I don't know if we've spoken about Taiwan and identity and whatnot, because America and patriotism, as extended through yesterday's news of Nancy Pelosi flying to Taiwan with her huge set of political imperatives, whatever. But oh shit, what was I going to say? There was something useful there, but I'm sure it'll come back.
Well, if it comes back to you,
no, that's what it was. Strategic ambiguity, as was seen yesterday. The relationship between China X1 and China X2, whatever the fuck, whatever is, God bless them all. But there is supposedly, and this might be just a made-up anecdote, but that Taiwan's reflection on the other China has to do with their constitution, and China's reflection on that other China has to do with the reflection on their constitution.
You mean Taiwan? It's not other China. It's Taiwan.
Well, I don't want to get anybody upset. I just like whatever it is. There's two things. The point of the
fucking Taiwan and West Taiwan. That's what is going on.
Taiwan ignores part of their constitution, and that China ignores the fact that they're depending on Taiwan not ignoring that part of their constitution to be what they're doing in terms of all this. So strategic ambiguity. It's a great Wikipedia page.
Okay, thank you, gang. I think at this point we have, you know what, gang, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this show. Audience, if you like this show, if you've enjoyed this content, consider following me. Thank you for that follow, by the way. Consider supporting this channel. I can't do this for free, gang. I can't do this, just for shits and giggles. I got issues. If you guys have noticed, my teeth. Right? I have a GoFundMe for that. We've raised almost $1,000, gang. That's great, but I need 3,000 to get this fixed. So I'm going to post this one more time in my chat, and then I'm going to give all these lovely individuals an outro. I want you to give them a follow too, because they're great people. So I'm going to post my link, GoFundMe link, one more time. But as I do, we will start with somebody. Tell them any closing thoughts on this and where people can find you, please.
Howdy, folks. I'm somebody online. You can find me on Twitter, some dummy online, because that's usually where I say my dumber things. Not dumber than some of the things I've heard recently. But anyway, I really want to say that we got to watch out on the left not to get too authoritarian, or else you might turn into a bunch of frickin' fascists. And frankly, we all need to be a little bit more accepting and understanding of other people's identities and a little bit less likely to try to gatekeep things, especially groups that we're not actually even frickin' parts of. But anyway, we'll get into all these other things later on. Wick, thank you so much for inviting me today. As for all the rest of you guys, thank you so much for interacting so respectfully with one another. This has been a fantastic conversation. I look forward to chatting with you all again in the near future.
Thank you for being here.
Bye,
Somebody, we always love you. We always are glad to have you here. Saxon, is there any place you want to shout out real quick, just briefly?
No, just wanted to say that definitely, Wick, I hope you get all your help and support, because that's one of the great things about this new medium, is that we can reach out and people who like what we have to say can support us, because otherwise unless you're in the tech industry, anyway, please support Wick. What a great place. What a great thing. It's so nice to have a Twitch polytech space that's not insane. Thank you.
Well, I don't know. You guys are going to drive me insane eventually. This is a Wick breaks his spirit arc, but we'll find out. Corey Campbell, please.
Firstly, thank you so much, as usual, Wick, for the invitation. Super grateful to be invited. Never take it for granted. And whether or not I'm a good panelist or not, I have no idea. But I think I could say that I'm reliable. And so I got that going for me. I'm Corey Campbell 84. You can find me on Twitch, Corey Campbell 84. On Twitter and Instagram, literally, it's Corey Campbell. I'm a scientist, PhD candidate in biochemistry. I cover science, research, politics on my stream, and also just to maybe bring it home to my point of language evolving. Just like language evolves, panels evolve, where we started from identity and went all the way to Hegelianism. I think that's a testament to how things evolve and change, and we have to get used to the ambiguity and things changing.
Well, it all had to deal with identity, at least in some way, shape, or form. So I appreciate that, gang. Corey Campbell, we love to have you on. I think you're a good panelist. That's why I keep inviting you, right? So thank you, gang. Give him a follow. He's a great guy. Next up, we have Desperado Sensei.
Hi, I'm Desperado Sensei. I am the cowboy in Japan. I don't stream very much anymore, but I like to be on panels. So my take with this here is basically nationalism bad, patriotism okay in small doses. Very small doses. But the
microdosing, perhaps.
There we go.
You could even use it in homeopathy and make delusions out of it. But my main thing with this here is identity is important, but we should definitely have a metric of gatekeeping that is going to have the most optimal outcome for the majority of people.
Okay, thank you very much for being on this panel today. Desperado, it's hard to get you scheduled, right? But I enjoy it when I do. So thank you for being here. Gang, give him a
13-hour time difference. I'm a parent, and I also worked weekdays.
And it is a testament to your loyalty to my brand that you're willing to come on and make things work. Appreciate you. Next up, we have the Drama Llama himself, Flowtrace.
What's up, guys? My name is Flowtrace. You can check me out at twitch.tv/Flowtrace, twitter.com/Flowtrace_. Look, taking someone's identity into account is a good thing. You just can't be cringe about it, okay? And I've developed a simple test for anyone out there who's like, but Flowtrace, how do I know if it's cringe, all right? It's called the Applebee's test. If you wouldn't say or wouldn't hesitate saying this to your waiter at Applebee's, then you're good to go. But if you were at Applebee's, you were looking over the specials menu and the waiter says, is there anything I can help you with? And you would hesitate to bring up, the fact that Barack Obama, is this actual neoliberal shill who betrayed the progressives, and you're hesitating a little bit, then you know what? Don't say it at all. You wouldn't say it in Applebee's, don't say it at all. So that's my advice to everyone at home. And stay safe, stay positive, because the world is great and it's going to keep getting better.
When the waitress asks me what I want or if there's anything else I'd like, I would not hesitate to say, you know what else I'd like? I'd like Flowtrace to be here to have a great conversation with, because you're a great person, Flowtrace. Thanks for being on here. Thanks for willing to stand your positions and
Can I get a
defend them
small
against
side of
alternatives. Real
communist
quick, yeah, go
revolution
check
with
them out, gang.
that?
Next up, first on this panel, but someone I hope it won't be his last time. I hope he enjoyed it. Kid,
I loved
not
it.
Kin, please.
Hey, yeah, chat. You can find me at Kid Knockin pretty much anywhere. But you should definitely come hang out during stream. It's definitely a little bit more loosey goosey over there. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. My main takeaway is just that, or I guess the last thing that I would really say to you is that, like, I think there's a lot of room within identity to find the limits to it and get creative. Feel yourself out. Feel around. Flop your arms around. Start dancing. Whatever the fuck. But like, yeah, get creative with yourself. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the panel. I had a lot of fun.
I'm glad. I always like when my panelists come away feeling like, oh man, I want to do this again. So we're glad that this is the case,
Absolutely.
and we will definitely be reaching out to you in the future. See, someone else we will be reaching out to in the future, right? Portland is burning. Please.
Hey guys, thank you again for this conversation. I really enjoyed myself. Obviously had some agreements and some disagreements with just about everybody on here, but I am always happy to defend my positions and chat with people who take them seriously. So, thank you to somebody online and Flowtrace and the couple of other late arrivals. I've never talked to you guys before. Don't ever think we've interacted, and it was a pleasure. Corey, Desperado, Kid Not Kin, you guys, pleasure to finally have a conversation with you, mostly just like having some nice exchanges on Twitter, but I hope we have a chance to do this again. You guys are all very fun to talk to. And Wick, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it as always. You can find me on twitch.tv and YouTube at Portland is Burning. Twitter is PDX is Burning, just PDXS Burning. I kind of like had to work with limited options there because apparently a lot of people are aware that Portland is in fact burning. I'm going to be doing some interview content soon. For anyone who's familiar with or has been watching Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal on HBO, a good portion of it takes place in and around Portland. I have been very fortunate to be able to line up interviews with a couple of the highly featured participants in a couple of those episodes. I'm going to be taking care of those and then uploading them probably next week in line with the finale of the show itself. That's HBO's The Rehearsal starring Nathan Fielder, just for the cheap plug. It's an amazing show, and I am going to be interviewing a couple of their prominently featured guests very soon. So check that out when it's up next Friday, and thank you again for having me, Wick. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being willing to come on and always argue for your positions with such clarity. Looking forward to seeing those interviews. Gang, give them a follow. Go check them out. Spirit Man, do you have anything you want to share? Any last final thoughts? Anywhere we can find you if we want to get in contact with you again?
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure being here. Saxon, what an amazing introduction. I'm new on the scene, but you can find me at Spiritman23 on Twitch. I'm here on Discord with a server called Genuine Philosophy. I have 5 live streams going all over the place to sublate anybody that wants to come and talk to me, and a Facebook group called Hegelians Who Want to Change the World, along with 38 sessions of Spirit on YouTube, where I'm hoping to teach this universal logic to help create a new identity that transcends the hyper-partisan and the hyper-nationalistic finite thinking that we have going on, that's going to create a new world order, whereas I think the identity we should really have is a new world spirit. So thank you very much for having me on. Hope to see you guys next time.
Yeah, I'll have to have you on in a smaller session to kind of dig into what the hell that means. But anyway, thank you, gang. Thanks once again. We are going to rate out. Let's see who is streaming right now. Who do you guys want to say to? Is Corey Campbell, are you going to be streaming after this or not at all?
I will be, yes. I'll be
Okay,
covering.
we'll rate out
all the
into you
things.
because why not?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And remember, if you're over 40, schedule a colonoscopy.
Yep.
Well said,
True.
buddy.
Check you
Thanks
later.
Everybody
again
have a
for
great
being
night.
here.
I'm going to go take care of my child. No more streaming
Yep,
for me tonight.
always a
Take
pleasure.
care. Be well.
Wait, bye,
Take care, folks.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. See you. Bye.
Take care
And
now.
about the